Well, greetings from the Pence Ranch out in North Texas. It is a dark and stormy day here right now. The lightning and thunder are rolling in, so you might hear those in the background. We're going to draw today, and we're going to be doing this every week from now on for who knows how long. But I hope you will enjoy being with me. You're going to hear some background noise, maybe some thunder. That's my heater in my office. If you're hearing something that sounds like a fan going, it's just... I want to get these out quickly, so I'm not going to be spending as much time trying to make them as perfect as I can. I want you to be able to have something to do each week and to draw and to just enjoy art. So we're going to start by going through my 5 rules for art students. And I just hope you'll keep these in your mind. I'll probably keep referring to them over the coming weeks because to me these are the 5 most important things to do if you really want to learn to draw and to get better at it. The first one, and I always tell everybody, rule number 1 in art is have fun. Okay? If you're not having fun, then what's the point? Art is joy. Art is expression. Art is being able to just kind of relax and have fun and let yourself go and enjoy the process. So please, rule number 1 is have fun. Have a good time as we do this. Rule number 2 is, if I can get my PowerPoint to work right, there you go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Artists tend to be perfectionists. I am. And when I work on a piece of art, I want it to be as perfect as it possibly can be. And that's not a bad thing, but one problem that goes with that is that sometimes we get so focused on making something perfect or as good as it can be that it kind of paralyzes us, and we're afraid to draw, and we're afraid to take risks, and we're afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. Make mistakes. What we're going to do here doesn't have to be perfect. And it goes back to number 1. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. So have fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. 3, your drawing does not have to look like mine. That's another kind of trap we fall into when we're doing tutorials, and I've fallen into this one myself. I will watch a lot of online tutorials to learn different things and different aspects of art, and then when I start to actually do my picture, I try to make it look exactly like my teachers or my instructors. The problem with that is you're not your instructor. You're not me, and I'm not you. Art is about you as an individual expressing yourself. So don't feel, as we go through these drawings and as we do different things together, don't feel like you've got to make your picture look exactly like mine. Because 1, it won't, and 2, even if you could, then you're not really developing your own style. What you're doing is imitating mine. So feel free for yours to look different. That's okay. In fact, that's the way it's supposed to be. I want you to learn the principles that I'll be teaching, and I want you to work and explore your own talent, your own ability, but don't feel like you've got to make your drawing look like mine. 4, use whatever you have. Okay? Don't feel like you've got to have exactly what I have. Now, I'm going to be doing most of these as we go forward. I'm going to be doing most of my drawings and paintings as we move into painting. I'll be using a program. I'll be drawing digitally, painting digitally, using a program called ArtRage. And there are a number of reasons why I do that. One is it's just easier for me to produce videos like this without having to gather supplies and get everything together. But also, I, over the years, have become more and more a digital artist. And in coming weeks, I'll show you some of the pictures that I've done in ArtRage, and I'm cultivating my ability to do digital painting, digital drawing, and so I'm really staying within my own medium. You use, 1, what you have, and 2, what you enjoy. Okay, so as we do this, if you have, all you have is pencil, use pencil. If you have colored pencils and you want to do colored pencils, use those. If you have crayons and that's what you want to work with, use those. If you want to really be adventuresome and take what I'm doing and say, I want to do acrylic or I want to do watercolor, do that. Enjoy the process and use whatever you have. Don't feel bound to do the same thing that I'm doing. Now, if you're interested in digital art, then there are a lot of programs out there. Again, I have two that I use most of the time. One is ArtRage, and that's what I'll be using today. And there's another called Procreate, and I use that a lot too. That's kind of restricted because you have to have an iPad or to work with it. But ArtRage will work on pretty much any platform, and it's a good program. So if you want to do what I'm doing, then go for it. But you don't have to. Use whatever medium you have. And then rule number 5, most important, don't quit. The reason a lot of people don't achieve what they'd like to achieve in art is they get discouraged and they quit. They give up. They say, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I have done that. I have said, I love drawing such and such, but I can't just draw blank, fill in the blank. But you know what? If you set your mind to it, drawing is a skill, okay? Drawing, anybody can learn how to do it. It doesn't matter. You do not have to be an artist. Anybody can learn to draw. It's a very simple, well, it's not always simple. Sometimes it's pretty challenging, but it is a skill that you can learn. Now, I contrast that by saying everybody can learn to draw. Not everybody's going to be a great artist. Not everybody's going to be, a Michelangelo or a Da Vinci or whatever. But anybody can learn to draw. You can learn the principles of drawing. You can learn the principles of art, and then you use your own talent and ability and go from there. So those are my 5 rules. Keep them in mind. Have fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your drawing doesn't need to look like mine. Use whatever you have, and don't quit. Okay? All right, let's draw. Now I've got to switch over here, and I've got to bring up ArtRage. So let me see if, well, that worked. Okay, let's bring up ArtRage. There we go. Let's draw. Now, as we start out, I have a reference picture right up here, and I will put a link in the post so that you can download this picture to work from. We're going to just draw a cherry, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're not going to try to make it perfect, not even necessarily going to color it in. We might work on that next week, but for starters, I just want us to start drawing. So I'm going to come over here. Whoa, I got to turn my tablet back on. It turns itself off to save power. Let's see, let's get it going again here. There we go. Okay, so let's draw a cherry. Now I have ArtRage, as I said, and right now I am using the pencil setting, and I'm going to take that and get it out of the way. And the pencil setting is going to pretty much function just like a regular pencil. If I press hard, it's going to get darker, and if I go light, it's going to go lighter. Okay, so if you want to draw with me, get you a pencil and paper. Or whatever. Like I said, it doesn't have to be that. You could do this with crayon if you want to. But just for sketching, I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to tell you a few things as I draw that have been really helpful to me in learning how to just draw something that I see. One of those things is what's called blind contour drawing. And you've heard me talk, if you followed me at all, you've heard me talk about this a lot. Blind contour drawing means I'm gonna look at what I'm drawing, and I'm not gonna look at the paper itself. And the reason for that is I want to teach my eye and my hand to work together. So as my eye goes over the object, then my hand is going to follow suit and draw it out. And it's a good principle to work with as you learn how to draw. And this is a good warm-up exercise. It's a good kind of a boot camp exercise. Just get something, some household object, and just put it in a position where you're not looking at the paper that you're drawing at or drawing on, but you're looking at the object itself, and then just draw it without taking your hand off of the paper. It should be all one line. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it here right now. Okay, so this is my object. Okay, now right now I am looking at the cherry, and I'm going to start really in the middle of the top, about where that stem is going to be, and my eyes are going to follow it. Now, when you do this, it's not going to come out perfect. In fact, when you first start doing this, it's going to look really terrible. Uh, but as you do it more and more, your eyes and your hand will begin to learn to work together, and it's almost as if there's sort of an invisible tether between your eye and your hand. Uh, and and again, mine obviously here is not going to be perfect either, and that's not the intent. The intent is to just get the feel of drawing my beautiful cherry there, but it's beginning to get the feel of having my eye and my hand work together. The more you do this, you will be amazed at how much better your sketching will be. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw kind of a general shape here, because as I look at this, it's sort of it's kind of an oval with kind of a dip in the bottom, and it's really more flat, or a dip on the top, and it's more flat on the bottom. So I've got my dip there. When I'm working digitally, I will start out with just a real easy layer like that. Now, this is something that you can do in digital art that you can't do in regular art, but I can do a beginning sketch, and then I can sketch on top of it on what would be a different layer. If you're doing this on paper, then what you're going to do is you're going to do your first sketch kind of lightly, and then you're going to come on top of that a little darker. But I'm going to go back here actually to my layers, because I don't like how that shape came out. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to start that one more time. Okay, let me take the layers out of. Let me move those down here real quick. Okay, so one thing I observe here is this side is lower than this side. So I want to make sure that I get that. So I'm going to come up here, and it's coming up, and now it's down and kind of flat on the bottom and coming up around. Okay, great shape? No, not particularly, but it's a start. Okay, now I'm going to go and work on my second layer. Now, what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to, let's go with maybe a little different color. Let's make this kind of a purple. So, okay, get the sample down out of the way here. Okay, so I'm on a different layer now. And I'm going to refine that a little bit. Now, how would I do this if I were just doing it with pencil? I would use an eraser. And I will use an eraser here too, eventually. Okay, so that's my second layer. I'll turn the first layer off, and I'm going to add another one. Let's go blue this time. Okay, and I'm going to kind of erase. Well, I can't because I'm on another layer now. Okay, let me go up here. Make that a little bit. Oops. Not like that. I'm going to turn off layer number 2. Now again, if you're doing this with paper, oops, sorry, wrong, right, trying to draw on the wrong layer there. If you're doing this with paper, what you're going to do is, whoa, that eraser. One of the reasons I like digital is if I make a mistake like that, I can just undo it. Okay, so let's come over here, just carefully. No, it's still going to be okay. If I'm working with paper, then I'm going to erase. I'm going to draw lightly, and I'm going to erase as I need to, and draw more lines as I need to. Okay, bring this up here and turn my eraser down a little bit so I don't take out so much. Okay. And go back to the pencil. And this is more like what I would do if I was working with one sheet of paper and just a pencil. My pencil lines I would be drawing in very lightly until I was happy with them. And okay. Is it perfect? No, but it's going to work for what I want. Again, that's another thing is, you know, your drawing does not have to look perfectly like the picture, because you're not really doing a photograph. You're doing something different. You're doing your own creative work. Okay, so I'm just kind of looking and sketching. And I'm going back over again. Now I'm staying on the same layer. And I'm going to draw the bottom, or the whatever it is that thing is sitting on. I'm going to follow the lines of the picture just to get a little bit of a base for it. And that is the basic drawing there. Now that's where I'm starting. There's going to be a lot more. But right now I just want to get my shape in. Actually, this should be a little bit higher. And maybe even a little rounder. Well, the thunder is rolling. Okay. Now, again, with this you can kind of color in a little bit. If I wanted to go a little faster, I'd go over here. And remember, use whatever works for you. You might be saying, that's really kind of a strange looking cherry, because cherries are supposed to be red. Are they not? Yes, they are. But sometimes, you know, you just have to be different. Sometimes you just have to draw a bluish purple cherry. All right, I'm going to come over here and pick up a little of that red. Well, I forgot how to do it. I'll have to look that up for the next time. Okay, let me pick up a little red and put it in there. This, so we do actually seem to have some kind of a cherry flavor here. I'm going to put in a little bit of color. If you're working with pastels, this is something that you can do. Just lay in a little color on top of the other. I can actually blend color a little bit. I gotta check my settings here though. That's not what I want. I don't want blurred frosting. I want... Yeah, let's see. Let's just blend color. There we go. That's what I want. And let me come over here, get things a little redder. Oops, wrong setting. There we go. Come back over to my palette knife. And let's see. Actually, yeah, let me try a smudge here. This would be kind of like using your finger to blend things a little bit. Nope, don't like that either. Well, let's see. Presets. Try nice small frost. Nope, don't like that either. Of course, the cool thing is that you end up with some very interesting looks, and you can try some of these, and I don't really like any of them, so I'm going to backtrack. To where I was. Okay. Let's just forget about that for a little while, and just go back in here with a little bit more of the red color. And one of the dangers of digital art too is that undo ability, because then I can keep doing the same thing over and over again, and I can say, oh, I don't like how that came out, so let's try doing it again, and you can end up doing it again so many times that you end up never finishing because you keep messing with it so much, and I'm guilty of that a lot. And I'm just going to lay in a little bit of color here. Oh, let's make that darker. Down here. Now I'm kind of learning on the iPad right now, or not on the iPad, but on ArtRage right now, because typically I do this on my iPad, and this is on a desktop computer, and it works quite a bit differently. The settings are not the same. So let's get a little bit brighter red here, kind of an orangish red up here. I'm gonna even bring in, ooh, it's a little too green. Let's go a little yellow here. And let's try blending these again. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so far I haven't liked that. Let's see what the smear does. No. It's a little bit closer. Let's shrink it down. It's a little bit more like what I'm trying to do, because I'd like to though it makes it a little bit too wet, and I don't like that look. Yeah, not crazy about that. It's kind of cool, but let's take that back. Okay. Let's try coming back over here. Well, I think the instant blur is probably the one I want, but you turn it down a little bit. There you go. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to get a feel for what it would be like if I had just used my finger to blur it. And that's kind of what I'm wanting. And then let's just come up here. Let's get a little bit more green in here. More of a yellow green. And let's just come in here and add a little bit of yellow green to the, and then this is kind of a brownish orange up here almost. So let's put in a little bit of that. And then a really kind of a darkish color, almost a dark brown, kind of right there. And let's see, I'm going to add in, go dark again. Let's go here with just kind of a nice bright white to give a little bit of highlight. I come back, blur these in just a bit. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's undo that. Let's make that smaller. Not quite so much blur. That's a little better. Now remember, you don't have to make yours look like mine, and it's obviously far from perfect, doesn't even look exceptionally like the picture, but the idea is to learn to play, learn to have fun. And week by week we're going to try some different things. This was just kind of an experiment and a starting point for us. What I want you to do is you do your own cherry with whatever medium that you want to do. Again, I will have a link in the post so that you can download that picture and try to do a cherry. And if you get it done, then send a copy to me at James, James, at Pence, Pence.com, and let me see your work. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine certainly isn't, because I'm kind of experimenting and learning and playing with my ArtRage app, and I want you to get out whatever art supplies you have and learn and play with them too, and see what you get. And remember, have fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like mine. Use whatever mediums or media that you can find, and don't quit. And next week I will be back with something else, and we'll see what else we can figure out how to draw. Thanks a lot. See you next week.